Here we have King George VI, or as his full name is, Albert Frederick Arthur George. He was born in 1895 and his father was King George V and mother Mary of Teck. George ruled for 70 years or until he died at age 56. Now George, tell us about how you became a king.
Yeah, as the younger brother, I wasn't supposed to be a king. I spent my early years in the shadow of Edward. When our father died, Edward became a king. But 326 days later, he abdicated because he wanted to marry a woman who had divorced twice. He knew that he couldn't marry her, so he sacrificed his career as a leader of the United Kingdom for the love of his life. I became a king in 1936 and reigned until I died in the year 1947.
Now George, tell us about your childhood and younger years.
I was born at York Caddocks in Norfolk. That was when my great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, reigned. I was known formally as His Highness Prince Albert of York, but my family called me Bertie. I was the fourth in line to the throne.
I've heard that you suffered from ill health as a child. You had, for example, stomach problems and had to wear a painful splits. You also had a stammer, which lasted for years. You were also naturally left-handed, but were forced to write with your right hand. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I also went to the army when I was 14. First, it didn't go too well, and when I was 16, I came to the bottom of my class in the final examination. But later, I served in the World War I.
What does your education consist of?
When I was 24, I went to Cambridge and studied history, economics, and civics for a year.
I see, George. That's nice. A year later, George was created Duke of York, Earl of Inverness, and Baron Kilkenny. He began to take on more royal duties. He, for example, toured coal mines, factories, and rail yards, representing his father. But he wasn't considered as impressive as his brother and father because of his stammer and his embarrassment about it and shyness.
Yes!
George married Lady Elizabeth Bowes Lyon the year 1923. She got the title Her Royal Highness the Duchess of York. George, people say you got a great deal of freedom in choosing a prospective wife. Is that right?
Yeah, this was in a time when royals were expected to marry fellow royals. She was considered not royal according to the court, although she was descent of Henrik VII and Robert the Scottish king. But I didn't care and married her, and we got married and got 2 daughters. They were Elizabeth and Margaret. They are my wonder babies.
George was head of the British Empire. It was huge, and it was all the colonies that was administered by England. After World War II, the British Empire started to fall apart because the colonies got independence. For example, George was the last emperor of India before it got independence. In the year 1936, the British Commonwealth were established. George, tell us about the Commonwealth.
Yeah, I was the first head of the Commonwealth. It is the former colonies and territories of the British Empire in an intergovernmental organization. It has 53 member states. After World War II, the stress because of it had taken its toll on me, and I also smoked heavily. I developed lung cancer among other illnesses. For example, my foot was taken off because of arterial blockage. Okay, my daughter's Princess Elizabeth took on more royal duties as my health deteriorated. In September 1951, my left lung was removed.
On the morning of the 6th February, King George was found dead in his bed. He had died from a coronary thrombosis in his sleep. His funeral took place in St. George's Chapel at Windsor's Church at Windsor Castle on the 15th of February 1952. And I can tell you that 50 years later, the year 2002, his wife and daughter Margaret died the same year and were buried next to him in the chapel.